4K when you pull it up. I should pull it up myself, as a matter of fact. But not on my Wi-Fi. On the old phone connection.
Oh, that's the ticket, is it?
Sometimes. Anything yet? Anything yet?
Not yet. Oh, wait. No, there it is.
There we go.
It says we're live. I'll be right back. I gotta go do something. Hack. Yeah.
Oh, that's the ticket, is it?
Sometimes.
What are you guys
Look at
doing?
that delay.
Seriously.
That's crazy.
Go on.
All right.
Get out.
I think we're good. Can you hear this?
Denied.
I heard it say denied in a very loud voice.
Okay. That's all you need to know. All right.
Mark says he doesn't want to risk it and join the show.
Okay.
Constantly dropping out today.
He just wants to play games.
Right.
That's probably
Yeah.
that's
let's be
probably
honest.
it.
All right. Let's roll. Let's roll forward. Here we go.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all are listening to the Overseas Connection podcast.
Shut up and sit down.
Here we go!
Would you kindly?
I think we're just getting started.
Medic! I'm a witcher.
I think this is more than you can handle.
Sits on his ass all day.
Let's do this.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to episode 833 of the Overseas Connection podcast. Today is April 27th, 2025, and I am just one of your humble hosts today, Greg DeLacy, Gamertag Murphy's Law, OC_Murphy's Law on Twitter. Yes, it is still Twitter to me. On the show today, starting from top to bottom, or bottom to pop? I don't know.
Bottom
Kim
bottom.
Woods. Kim, how are you?
Am I the bottom or the pop?
You could be the bottom and the pop.
Anyway, howdy. That's me. I don't know. Happy to be here, I guess. So
We're
well,
happy
not
to
really,
have
I
you here.
I like being here.
Also on the show today, Christopher Matthew. Christopher Matthew, how are you?
I'm well, Greg. You must not hop on pop.
I
No kids. You
Don't
must not
hop on the pop.
Don't
Even
hop
if the
on
first
pop.
one's for free, don't do it. Hey, if you haven't tuned into the show before, we are a video game podcast. We talk about video games. We talk about life. We inspire individuals like John Mouse from Joystick and Chills, where he gave us a nice little shout out. So I wanted to shout back at him. They're a horrible podcast. Don't bother listening to them. Just listen to us. Just kidding, John. We love you. Where do we go from here? Mark's out. Mark's internet has been finicky. Robin has
Oh, he does.
conveniently ducked us ever since we brought Christopher Matthew back, as well as Mark Wright back. I'm being sure to, by the way, naming conventions, making sure I'm using full names for everybody equally, so nobody's offended that they're only getting certain name, that kind of thing. But yeah, so it's just the three of us. It's the All-American podcast. Honestly, this is the best part of the podcast. Truth be told, right?
Let's be honest. The best part is the end.
Okay, well, there's that. All right, we do this every Sunday, by the way, in case you were wondering. For the most part, every once in a while we go off schedule, but pretty much, I'd say, out of the 52 shows we do in a year, okay, that's a lie. We probably do like 51 shows because we usually take Christmas or New Year's Eve off, somewhere in there. But we'll knock out most of those on Sunday. It'll be 8 p.m. in the UK if you happen to live over there in the godforsaken country, or 12 p.m. on the West Coast, which honestly is the best coast. It really is, outside of this weekend. We'll get into that later. 3 p.m. on the East Coast, second best coast. Some think it's first best coast, but and then if you happen to be in some godforsaken, backwards area, unknown to mankind, yet to be discovered, kind of like
Dueling
the early
banjos,
days.
rednecks, whole nine yards.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
2 p.m. out with Kim. All right. We're on YouTube. We're on Twitch. You can watch us live and join the chat just like these fine individuals have joined the chat already. Kim, a quick shout out to them, please.
Yeah, howdy to Boomer and Playing Skills. Thanks, guys, for being here. So,
All right, man. They're helping bring the show down just a little bit further.
right?
Yeah. And we will put forward an audio version. So fear not, if you can't join us live each weekend, you can always listen to the show the next day. We publish it sometime-ish the next day. And you'll be able to, rock out with, your, I don't know, whatever you do for cardio. I was gonna go with rock out with your jock out, but then I thought that's a little bit sexist because you never know, you know. So anyway, I don't know where I'm going with all of this. I think we need to talk about birthdays. Kim, what is this
Yes.
birthday I see in front of us?
Yeah, May 1st is my nephew Owen's birthday. He'll be 6. That's my sister Emily's youngest boy. So happy birthday, Owen. So
Happy birthday to Owen.
Yep. Yeah, I actually had to ask her today if he was going to be 6 or 7 because I couldn't remember. So she's like, he'll be 6. I'm like, all right. Because he started kindergarten early, which in a roundabout way didn't exactly pay off because apparently he's going to have to redo kindergarten because according to his teacher, he's smart, but when it comes time to put it to paper, he kind of gets a little confused. So,
Okay.
and they figured it's better to hold him back now than to when he got older and has more friends and that sort of thing, and then it's a little harder. So, but such is life.
Such as
But his
life.
birthday will be May 1st, so
Are you gonna sing him happy birthday now?
little dude. I am not singing him happy birthday, so. Happy birthday! No. I've done that before. I think I've put you all through enough, so.
We do appreciate that. Hey, by the way, I saw somebody making a comment about the Heartland, being
Oh, yeah.
Central Time. Oh, okay, let's
it
really think about this, okay? Let's put this to the test. So, of course, the East Coast, that's where the majority of, the population from America started, right? East Coast, they had come over on boats and ships. Some immigrated through Ellis Island. But, then you had the big push out west. And here's the way I look at it. The really ambitious people made it out to the West Coast. They came out for gold. They came out to the West Coast. They made it all the way. It was the slackers, the kind of lazy ones that got about halfway and they thought, you know what? I don't want to go any further. This is good enough. And so, they just stopped and they settled in and, they don't have any oceans. They've got Missouri. Sorry,
I have a
Well,
counterpoint.
you know what? If it hadn't
You're,
been for Missouri, we were the gateway to the West. So
I know. I'm
There you
totally
go.
taking a shot at Lewis right now, just for the hell of it. But counterpoint. I'm listening, Mr. Matthew. Please, Christopher Matthew.
Counterpoint.
Sorry, Christopher Matthew. I
You
need to
said
be
Mr. Matthew? Sounds
Mr.
like a-
Matthew.
Yeah, sounds like a gnome in a video game that's going to give you a side quest with unintended consequences. Counterpoint, Mr. DeLacy. All of those people couldn't cut it on the East Coast, and that's why they are where they are. That's all I'm saying.
Fair enough. Shots fired. I can
Burn.
I could see how you would try and go that direction with it. Counterpoint, Mr. It just got too crowded on the East Coast, and we thought, you know what? There's this wide open country. Let's.
Because the competition. It's called running away from the competition.
It's called escaping the
Right.
asylum.
Right. That's why the San Diego Chargers moved to a different division. Right. Running away from the competition.
By the way, don't get me started on NFL football divisions. They make no sense. They really don't. How the Kansas City Chiefs are in the AFC West is odd. Then you've got what for the NFC West? You've got the Rams, the Niners, the Seahawks. All make sense, and then the New Orleans Saints. Exactly.
What about the New Orleans Saints?
They're not really on the West Coast, are they?
They're not.
So why are they
No.
in the NFC West? Although, did they move? Did they move them out of the NFC West? I think they might have.
They are not
They
in
did.
the NFC West.
They did. They moved them out of the NFC West.
They
They're
are.
now in the NFC South.
They are definitely in the NFC
The
South.
Cardinals went into the West. All right, fair enough. I'll give you that one. That one actually is somewhat set up properly. But there's plenty of divisions in the NFL that just don't make sense. They've got Southern teams and East Coast conferences. It's a bit of a mess.
I'll tell you what. I agree with you. I agree with you. But it's less than a mess, less of a mess than college football conferences.
Oh,
right? University of California, all right, is part of the Atlantic Coast Conference. That makes no sense. Right?
No. Yeah. And it's just going to get worse with the whole NIL situation with college players now being able to jump ship and do their thing. Yeah, it's follow the money in college football. That's the sad truth of it all. Anyway, where are we going with all this? I know where we're going with this.
Everyone here loves story time, our favorite time of the day.
I kind of do. I don't know. Kim, what's been going on with you?
Oh, same shit, different week, kind of. My dad's birthday was last week. As a matter of fact, it was Friday. So happy birthday, Dad. He's 74. I got him a new pair of boots, finally. He's only been wanting a new pair of boots for like the last 2 months, which were terrible months to need new boots because of all the snow and the rain and everything else. But I did finally get him a new pair of boots for his birthday, and he's breaking those in now. He only complained once that one was rubbing his foot, so I'm assuming once he gets them broke in, they'll be fine. We'll see.
I would think so.
Other than
Breaking
that,
in boots,
mean,
though, is tough. It's
Yes.
yeah. You could have gotten
Yeah,
flip
we were always
flops.
told when we were kids we got a new pair of boots. You wore them out in like a mud puddle or like you got them wet and then you wore them all day long and that would break them in. So that's what we did when we were kids. Of course, I'm an adult now and I get blisters and yeah. But anyway,
Why does it just
That's
feel
nice.
like
I
that's the
didn't-
exact wrong way to break in a pair of boots? I don't know. Mr. Matthew,
I don't know.
Mr. Christopher Matthew, you have had many boots in your lifetime.
Yeah.
What would
good
you
boots
say
don't-
that
good boots you don't have to break in. But so when we would get brand new boots, you would actually wear them in the shower. Just get them soaked through, and then they would kind of form to your foot a little bit. Then you would pack them with you had to get them to dry out, right? That's the problem. So you pack them with old newspapers. That soaks up all the water. Then they dry up, and they're ready to go. Yeah. So you would walk around, get your boots just soaking wet, and walk around in them a little bit. That would get them broken in. Yeah. Either that, or you just wear good socks. Just wear good socks.
good socks? There you go.
True too. Yep.
Uh,
So I did that. I made him pork chops for his birthday. So I
Nice.
was nice and did that. Yeah. See, occasionally I do nice things. Other than
you're
that,
a genuinely nice person, Kim. You really are. You do.
Thanks, I
You
appreciate that.
now. I will ask because I'm inquiring about your cooking
Okay.
because I've seen you
Okay.
bake a lot of stuff.
Right.
However, you don't typically
Mm-hmm.
bake pork chops. So, or did
Well,
you
you
bake your pork
can.
chops?
I did. I did. I baked my pork. I was gonna cook them on the grill, but it
Okay.
was cold and rainy, and
Fair enough.
I didn't want to stand out in the rain with my pork chops. But you can fry them in a skillet. But I don't know. I've done that. But you gotta watch when you fry things because of course the grease and shit splatters everywhere. And I'm not a lazy person, but the fact of trying to clean all that grease off of my stove and my wall and everything in between, I'm just like, you know what? I'll throw them in the oven. My oven's dirty anyway, and nobody's gonna give a shit about grease in my oven. So what the hell? So I
We call
baked them
that
in the
flavor,
oven for
Kim.
like
Flavor.
right. So
Plus,
I
oven
baked them in the
self-cleans.
oven. Right. So I baked them in the oven. I don't know, about 10 minutes. Stuck the thermometer in there. They said they were done because, of course, I don't want to give anybody, botulism or something. So yeah.
What went
So I
with
did
the
that,
pork
I made
chops?
some-
What was the accompaniment? Give me the full. I'm actually very hungry right
okay.
now, so I need this.
Obviously, yeah. I made roasted potatoes and green beans. So, and then we
Okay.
had chocolate cake for dessert. So,
Oh, all
and I
right.
baked the chocolate cake. I mean, like the whole thing was homemade. The frosting, the cake, the whole 9 yards. So,
Did you bake the cake with the
Yeah.
pork chops?
no, I actually made the cake earlier. So, but I could have. We could have had like pork chop chocolate cake.
I,
You know,
I
there you
feel
go.
like there would have been some flavor infusion there that might not have agreed. I don't know.
Well,
All
you
right.
never know. Maybe.
I'm
So I
sufficiently
did that
hungry
for his
now.
birthday. So, glad I could help. I've officially corrupted Mark on Baldur's Gate. He's been sending me Baldur's Gate TikToks for like the last 2 days. So I chuckle at this now. He's went down the Baldur's Gate rabbit hole, and it's all my fault. So
I feel
All
like
your
Mark
fault.
is easily
You're
swayed
welcome.
with this TikTok porn that you've been posting.
it seems to be it's a little disconcerting. Not that he doesn't like to comment on it and tell me that I'm a porn peddler, but whatever. You got to do what you got to do. It's just funny because the
people
other
want to
day,
know.
right? It was funny because I can't remember now if it was yesterday or the day before, but I woke up and, of course, time zone differences. Mark had already sent me like 6 different TikToks. And it was funny because then he comes on later and he's like, I hope you didn't mind that I sent you all those. And I'm like, no, it was fine. I just didn't expect to see so many. So yeah. He's now thoroughly engulfed, I guess, enamored with Baldur's Gate. So I'm tickled with that.
All right.
I am not the only one. So let's see. Other
Many
than that,
people
Barn Kitten-
are. Yeah.
I know, right?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. But anyway, other than that, the Barn Kittens, the ones I was telling you about, was it last week, the week before, whatever? They officially have their eyes open and they're starting to crawl around. So yeah.
All right.
So far, the raccoons have not found them, so that's good news. So
How
hopefully-
many more cats will this be, Kim?
This will be 4 more cats. So on top
So
of the
are
ones I
we
already have.
50 plus now?
I don't know. I'd have to go out and count to be fair.
Out of sheer morbid curiosity, I don't think of raccoons as being hunters. What does a raccoon do to a cat?
Not good
Anything
things.
else? They'll
Yeah,
kill it.
not good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they would kill it. Yeah, because
Well-
here was it last summer? I had one out on my front porch, and I've been keeping an eye on it. And it was actually in one of the cat houses, which Tank Top likes to give me shit about. And the raccoon had actually climbed up in the cat house and packed the raccoon off and killed, or the kitten off and killed it. So,
Well, yeah.
After
I
the
mean,
raccoon,
it ultimately was, basically a pantry for the raccoon.
basically, yeah.
Yeah.
So we
All
try to
right.
keep the raccoon population, not really under control because honestly they breed like freaking rabbits. So I mean, and raccoons around here are worse probably than deer. But
Yeah.
we try to keep the numbers down as best we can.
Mr. Matthew, I don't think you were around for the very infamous story that Kim gave the podcast crew about shooting a raccoon out of the ceiling with a shotgun in her previous house. So she has been duly dubbed Raccoon Hunter Killer.
All right. I think I missed that.
Yeah.
I think I missed that.
Yeah, just a little bit. Okay, the
Ah.
thing was, in our old house, we had raccoons that lived in the attic, and one Sunday morning, one decided it was gonna fall through the ceiling. So, and I think it was just as shocked as I was sitting there drinking my coffee, going, "Oh, hey, look, there's a raccoon in our living room." Anyway, he did not survive. So,
The first instinct for me would be one, run and open a door and hopefully it leaves. Kim just goes for the shotgun.
Well, you got
Okay.
it. Raccoons are mean. Raccoons are mean.
yes,
You gotta,
yes, they
you
are.
gotta
And they
protect
are
yourself.
smart.
Yeah.
Even for tiny
They're
little
smart.
heads, they're amazingly
And-
smart.
And they can
Yeah,
be aggressive
Everybody thinks they're cute, but they
from a
they
distance.
can be mean.
from a distance.
Yeah, from a distance.
Yeah.
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 You put anything into a plushie, it can look cute. I mean, a shark can look cute as a plushie, but let me tell you, I'm not going
Right.
to cuddle up on a shark. Okay.
Great. So anyway, that's it for me this week.
All right.
Unless you want to talk about the draft, because
I think
I
we
don't
can
know.
all three of us talk about the draft. The NFL draft took place on technically Thursday through Saturday. Much to the chagrin of my wife, it was on pretty much nonstop all 3 days. So we could talk about the big thing that happened with Shedeur Sanders not being picked for 5 rounds, which was kind of amazing to watch.
my ass off over that one.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, because
Did
he did finally get picked. He got picked by the Cleveland Browns in the 5th round. But I mean, the big thing about it was he was supposed to go in the first round.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And supposedly, and this came out, I don't know, about a week and a half before the NFL draft, an anonymous, in quotes, source of one of the teams said it was one of the worst interviews they had ever experienced for a potential quarterback in the NFL. And I think that resonated with a lot of teams. I think a lot of teams just realized he was not really number one caliber, player. So he dropped, and it was kind of funny though, because if you was it Mel Kiper on ESPN has just been railing against NFL teams, being like, "This is ridiculous. This just shows bias and blah blah blah." And I mean, if all 32 teams are unwilling to take a chance on this guy for 5 rounds, that says a lot. So
Yeah. I had read another thing that essentially this quarterback class is not as deep as some previous years. So I think it was 2 or 3 years ago, there were 5 really talented quarterbacks that entered into the NFL. And so there weren't a lot of teams looking for a quarterback anyway.
Yeah.
And so that plus maybe a bad interview, not helping the case.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the other aspects, and we talked about the NIL just a moment ago, I think that is going to impact it's going to be interesting to see how it impacts. I mean, obviously you hope it doesn't impact players in a negative way, but I have a feeling it's going to, because you think about it, Shedeur Sanders had already made, I think, well over like $5 million playing college football.
Right.
So he's coming out of college football, kind of like a made man already. Whereas back in the day, you graduated from college and went into the NFL draft with the hopes of being, that big ticket and, having your dream come true. So I just wonder if this is going to really kind of sour a lot of prospects moving forward coming out into the draft, because hell, they might be better off staying in college an extra couple of years just to make more money.
I don't have a problem with that.
I mean, I don't either, but it I think it's going to have an impact on players coming into the NFL.
I think they have to balance the risk of injury if they keep playing in college, versus what potential payday they can get in the NFL. And if the payday in college is better, then maybe they stay longer. Letting those young people. I mean, there's a reason the NFL has you have to be 3 years removed from your high school class to come to the NFL, right? There's just an 18-year-old trying to play in the NFL. There's just physically not ready.
Right.
Except for some very rare exceptions. So I don't really have a problem with them staying in college longer. Now, you see the other case where you have a guy like Cam Ward who goes number 1. I was a little irked that he played the first half of the bowl game and then just sat on the sidelines and watched his team lose the bowl game. And then he goes
injury.
Yeah. And then he goes number 1 in the draft. And I get it. Like, the NFL is paying players to play football. So they're like, hey, as long as we pay this guy, he's going to play football for us. But
right.
I don't know. I guess I'm a little bit old fashioned there. I like to see the players that are going to put the team first.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway.
All right.
How'd the Chargers do in the draft?
I'm sorry, say it again.
How'd the Chargers do in the draft?
So we drafted 22nd. We got Mario Hampton, who was our number 1 pick, running back. We definitely needed a home run hitter kind of running back. So I'm pretty happy with that. I mean, I won't go through the rest of the draft picks, but I mean, for our first pick, that solved an issue. I know the Chiefs, I think you guys took Golden, the wide receiver.
I believe so.
Yeah. So he's a speed guy. God knows Kansas City, you love your wide receivers. So especially the speedy ones. The question is, will he catch the ball? It's always the question.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah. Sky Moore was fast, and he's
yeah. Look how that turned out.
Yeah.
It's Clifford Franklin.
Yeah.
You've seen the replacements?
Yeah.
Keanu
Yes.
Reeves and Gene Hackman.
Yep.
Yeah.
Real fast, but he can't catch.
Mr. Matthew, who's your favorite football team? I don't think I know this.
So if I'm supporting the NFL, it's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's where I grew
Oh,
up. That's
okay.
the hometown team. Selecting a wide receiver in the first round is a little bit of a questionable choice. They are already pretty deep at wide
Yeah.
receiver, and they would have gone deeper into the playoffs this year, but the defense was really struggling. So after the first round, they kind of doubled down on defense with two defensive backs, D-line and a linebacker. So that's good, addressing some needs, assuming those players develop into good talent. But selecting a wide receiver in the first round when they really needed help on the defensive side of the football was an interesting decision. But that's why those general managers and coaches get paid all the money that they do to make those decisions, and I'm just sitting here talking for free.
No, I want to say it was Amike Emegbule. I'm
Yeah.
butchering his name, but yeah,
that's the person. Then that's I'm not going to try to say that his name because I'll say it wrong as well. But yes, that's the person.
yeah. I mean, the good news is they were saying out of all of the receivers in this year's draft, he was like the most NFL ready. Like he's going to slot in, have no issues at all. He may not be the big home run hitter that some others are, but he's like a guaranteed, like he's just going to be able to slot right in and start day one, no problem. So maybe that's kind of where they were angling from it, of just being like, hey, we've had some injury history with Goodwin and with Evans. Let's get another receiver in here. So this way we have consistency. So,
well, and Mike Evans has been pretty good for a long time, but he has been in the league for, I think, 13 years.
Yeah.
And for a wide receiver, that's a long time. So,
yeah.
yeah.
I think he said he wanted to retire a Tampa Bay Buccaneer, which I think his contract now lets him do that. The biggest question for you, Chris, the creamsicle uniform, yay or nay?
Yay.
All right. Embrace the creamsicle.
On occasion. Okay. I think I like the new unis. I say new, they've been the unis for 30 years now, but I like the red and pewter and black uniforms, but I do like to see the traditional uniform trot out every now and again for a throwback day or something like that. There's, old Bucko Bruce. That's what they call. That's the name of the pirate on the.
I did not know this. Okay.
Yeah, Bucko Bruce. There's a place in my heart for Bucko Bruce.
All
so
right. Bucko Bruce. Okay. Kim, I'm trying to think of the Chiefs' alternate jerseys in uniform. I honestly don't think I've seen it. I think I just see the red and the white.
They're black and white stripes, ball cap, and a whistle.
Oh dear.
Okay, that was good. All right. Oh gosh, Mr. Matthew, what else has been going on with you? Sorry, Christopher Matthew. I just like calling you Mr. Matthew, and I don't know why. It just works for me. Because you were a teacher, and so teachers always get Mr. Mr. Matthew, Mrs. Matthew. Right. Depending on how you want to identify, I can go either way with that. Yeah. You just tell me.
They still call me Moose. Is kind of what I go with. My sister asked me the other day if they call me Mr. Chris or Mr. Matthew, and I said, well, it's a military academy, so they call me Colonel Matthew or they call me Sir. But that's just because we do weird things here. What else is going on with me? Well, it was just April 25th. And if you know me, you know that I like obscure movie references. And so, of course, April 25th is the perfect date. All you need is a light jacket. Greg is lost. Let him in.
I know what this is.
Let him in.
Let me in. Please, somebody help me out. Is this
I honestly don't know.
I'm waiting. God. I was going to have Kim bring it to you.
It's Sandra Billy Bullock. Crystal and what's her name, right?
No, you're thinking of When Harry Met Sally, but it's actually Sandra Bullock in it's not Sandra Bullock. The name of the movie is Miss Congeniality.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, and they're doing the interview section in Miss Rhode Island the question is, what's your idea of the perfect date? And she says, I guess April 25th. It's not too hot. It's not too cold. All you need is a light jacket. And so we have a tradition in our house of going out on a date on April 25th.
That's great.
Yeah. And this week it worked out really well because a restaurant near us was doing a scotch and dinner sort of cocktail pairing menu. So it's
Nice.
like a five course dinner with, I think we got 3 cocktails and then a Johnny Walker on the rocks. And the cocktails are kind of crafted to go along with each course of the meal. So that was a fun experience. Definitely recommend if you get a chance to do something like that. And it's just busy, busy, busy. I don't know what it is about the last weekend in April, but it seems like everything is going on here this weekend. There's a big military competition that happens every year called Sandhurst, where there's 10 teams from our academy. Navy sends a team, Air Force sends a team, several ROTC programs send teams. We have teams from, I think, 10 different foreign countries. The UK, of course, because Sandhurst is their military academy. It started as a competition just between West Point and Sandhurst, but now it's RMC from Canada sends a team.
Okay.
The Australians send a team. So anyway, it's a big deal. That's ramping up. They're running all over the place. There's a military bagpipe review going on here today, which is pretty cool. So in the Northeast here, all the police societies and fire departments will typically have a bagpipe band.
Mm-hmm.
And so they'll all come here for this competition. So that's a lot of fun. Yeah.
All right.
And then kind of the last little fun story. So I help out with the youth group that my kids go to.
Okay.
And last night was our, the guy who runs it, once a spring, he'll play this game with the high schoolers where they start on one end of the town and they have to sneak their way to the other end of the installation. And there's cars full of parents driving around looking for them.
How funny.
And if they get caught, we pick them all up in their car and take them back to the start point, and they got to start over. So it's lots of fun. But the winning team, this was genius at work. The winning team. So this is a military academy, military
Right.
people all over the place. They all dressed in military fitness uniforms, and they just ran out in the open from the start to the finish point, and they're all high schoolers. So
That's
like
brilliant.
in a running formation. They look like, okay, they
Yeah.
look the part. And so they just ran, no sneaking. They just in formation jogged on to the finish. And that was just pure genius. Yeah. So that was fun. That's what's going on with me.
What do they win? Out of curiosity, I mean, anything?
Oh, it's mostly for bragging rights.
Okay.
I think the guy who leads the group buys the winning team McDonald's. They all kind of go to McDonald's afterwards, and he buys McDonald's for the winners. But mostly it's bragging rights.
Okay.
Particularly the kids bragging on the parents that are chasing them, like, we got past you. So yeah.
I don't know why I didn't think about this. We should have told Mark, just go to McDonald's, get on their Wi-Fi.
Right?
That's right. Starbucks, McDonald's.
Robin's done it
Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
All right, excellent. It sounds like a full week, but there were some rewards in there, so I like that.
It's better than being bored.
Yeah, 100%. Speaking of being bored, I have to tire shop.
Costco.
What? No. See, I was leaning Costco, but I might go America's Tires instead, just because. One, they have, they do the free rotation, which you can do with Costco, but you have to schedule with Costco. You can't just show up. And also, they started this, they have like a free air station where you just drive up and they'll run out and put air in your tires if one's low. And I just kind of love that convenience. I mean, I'm lazy as hell when it comes to that kind of thing. So, not that I couldn't do it myself, but I mean, if they're going to do it, hey. So, anyway, so leaning America's Tires, we'll see. Either way, I know I'm going to be dropping at least $1,000 on tires. That I'm not.
What are you driving? What's your whip?
So this is going to be for a Kia Telluride, a 2020
All right.
Kia Telluride. So
Yeah, big tires.
then the problem is it's an all-wheel drive vehicle, and so all-wheel drive vehicles, even if in my case I have 2 tires that need to be changed out sooner than the other 2, but you have to change it all 4 at the same time. So hence it'll be expensive.
Yeah, I don't have it anymore, but my Corvette, it had different size tires on the front and the back. And so you couldn't really rotate them. You could switch them from
swapping
one
sides,
side
yeah.
to the other, but so that caused them to have to be replaced more often than other tires. Plus, they're sticky tires. They were Z-rated, so they wear out faster.
No.
But well, good luck with tire shopping.
Yeah, I appreciate
And
that.
you wear them out faster because you're driving a Corvette. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, yeah, you're doing donuts and you're lighting up the tires in front of the house just to entertain the kids. I get it.
Yeah.
All right. I can't believe you sold the Corvette.
So this is a way back then story,
Yeah.
but I had my grocery getter. That was my pickup truck that was paid for. And so I bought the Corvette as kind of a fun car.
Right.
And something broke on the pickup truck, and it was going to cost like $3,500 to get it fixed.
Okay.
And I was like, this truck's worth $10,000 maybe. So I'm not willing to put that kind of money in it. So I sold the truck and the Corvette at the same time, and I bought my current whip, which is a family practical Volvo S60.
Okay.
Yeah.
Volvo, so yeah, I will say this. Volvo now they've turned a corner, because for the longest time it was like you had, so I'm going to date myself going way back. You had the Volvo sedan and the station wagon, and that was it.
Yeah.
They looked identical except for the back end. It was
Yeah.
either a wagon or it was a sedan. They were, in theory, great cars, but God, I did not want to be seen in one of those. They've definitely changed that formula.
The styling is much better. They still have so mine is a S60, which is a 4-door sedan. You can get the V60, which is a wagon, which is the same as my car except the back. But those Volvo 870s that you're talking about from like the Ferris Bueller's Day Off, those are sought after in the car community because they're really easy to drop a lot of horsepower into, and turn into a dragster. So people who like fast cars like to get their hands on those.
Okay, the unassuming Volvo, shopper drag racer. Okay,
that's right.
Let's see. We covered the draft. A couple of other things. One, what's this wet stuff that comes out of the sky?
We call that rain.
I hope it's rain because
we're getting rain. We got rain the past 2 days, which kind of sucked because my son is on sleepover, and so we ended up not going out and doing anything. Instead, we hunkered down, and it's been a crafting weekend. So my wife has been doing her crafting stuff. I've been actually building a model, which I will share. If you're familiar with Star Wars, the Slave One Boba Fett ship.
Yep.
It's a little hard to see in this. I guess it was upside down. I don't know.
Yeah, it's upside down now. You had it right first.
I am building that. I just put the canopy on. It's almost done now. I need to start putting some of the weathering effects on it, but we'll do a show and tell next weekend. It should be done.
Are you doing like airbrush or is it all decals? What are the finishing touches?
It's funny you should ask that. So I do have an airbrush. It's actually pretty sweet. It's a USB charged airbrush, so I don't have to hook it up to any kind of condenser. Super simple to use. So I thought they had a plastic like the mixer cup, right, that goes in that holds the paint. I have a couple of different size variations of that, but they had this little like rubber stopper on the bottom, and then it has a cap on top. And I'm like, okay, well, I could put my paint in, and then, I'll just kind of mix it in that cup, and then I'll bring it out, screw it on, and go. Problem was the little rubber stopper literally was a rubber stopper. That paint just started pouring out the minute I tried to open that up. So I turned it upside down thinking, okay, well, at least I'll keep it from going out the big opening. at the bottom.
Oh.
Well, the lid had a freaking hole in it to allow air to go in, so the air mixture goes in with the paint for the airbrush, which I just didn't even think about. So I'm dripping gray paint everywhere. The good news was it's water-based paint. It cleaned up very easily. Didn't ruin anything, but it was a disaster for a good 10 minutes. There were many F-bombs being said in this household. But yeah, so I do airbrush. I do brush with just a normal paintbrush. And then decals, I'm not the biggest decal guy, just because decals traditionally have been horrible. Although I like the water-based, you put the water onto it, get it nice and loose, and then you slide it on over. That's been typically how I will use decals if needed. But a lot of the Star Wars decals anyway, those models don't have a lot of decaling on them. I think traditionally more like an Air Force jet would have more decals on it. But I do like to put in the weathering effects. For this model, I'm going to attempt to make basically some fire for the engines firing off on the backside of it. So we'll see how that goes. There's a guy on YouTube that I pulled up that was showing off how he did it. I'm pretty sure he uses cotton balls, and then he shapes it and then paints it with several different layers of coloring.
So you're gonna actually make. You're not gonna paint it so it looks like fire. You're gonna actually make.
I'm gonna make some fire coming out of it. Yeah.
So there's I don't know how you feel about wiring up LEDs. I've seen a pretty cool display for the Lego Saturn V that uses a similar technique to what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
They have a hollow plastic tube or glass tube surrounded by the cotton with LEDs to make it look like that.
Okay.
It's your project. Just a thought. You bring your model next week. I'll bring my Lego one, and we'll compare notes.
Okay.
It'll be it'll be a nerd fest.
And then last but not least, Star Wars. We're staying in the Star Wars world. I did watch the first 3 episodes of Andor. It was a pretty funny moment yesterday. I just sat down to watch Andor, and I put it up on the podcast chat, and I was like, sitting down to watch Andor, and then just like minutes later, not even minutes, probably like a minute later, noise, everything going on, not being able to focus and watch the show. And I'm just like, motherfucker, I was like, just, posted up my angry relay of not being able to watch the show. I think you thought I was angry at the show itself for a moment there, Christopher Matthew, but no, in fact, it was just angry at the world for not allowing me to watch the show. But last night from like 11 to 12:30, somewhere in there, that time frame, I watched all 3 of the new first episodes. I'm happy to say it's good. I'm enjoying season 2 so far. It's 12 episodes long. I did not realize it was going to be that long. They're, I guess, releasing 3 episodes each week. They're roughly a half hour, 45 minutes each, per. Okay. And hey, true to form, Andor is an adult Star Wars tale. They'll have funny stuff within it every now and then, but you're not going to get Ewoks. You're not going to get the soft, cuddly, kid situations. None of that. This actually episode, I think it was episode 2 or episode 3. I think it's episode 3. I heard some people in discourse of being like, that doesn't belong in Star Wars. Absolutely everything they've shown so far has a place in Star Wars. I'm not going to spoil anything, but just know they handled it tastefully. So there's nothing that I would say is outlandish. But they do, it's hard-hitting topics. And if you think about Star Wars literally is World War II being told in a space saga. And so, yeah, there's some bad stuff that happens. So, it's good. Anyway, I'll leave it at that.
I just started watching it. So. I just started episode 1. And then like you, life pulled me away from it. But I really enjoyed the opening dialogue between Cassian and I guess there's an employee at the Imperial TIE Fighter testing center that's like he's flipped her into being a source.
Right.
And they're going over their cover story. And I just love that look at the rebellion. Like the movies, the three original trilogy movies played that out as a very military, here's one army versus here's another army, and we're having this big conflict. I really enjoy Rogue One and Andor diving into, the rebellion having to sort of stay underground, because if they come up too long, they just don't have enough. They don't have the mass of forces to go up against the Empire in a ship to ship battle, right? Or capital ships at least. So I really love that look at it, and I think this is supposed to be the last season of Andor, but I hope they have some other similar kind of
This leads right to Rogue One.
Yeah.
So Lewis is saying in the chat, people are saying it feels rushed. I haven't felt that so far. Each episode supposedly is supposed to cover like a year in time. I'm not sure if that's true. I didn't really pay attention to it after the first episode, but it was like year one. So, I mean, for me, I thought everything. I mean, I had no issues with the way the story's kind of unfolded so far. But yeah, I'm with you, Mr. Matthew. I love this kind of like gritty, like doing what we need to do, and it's not always going to be where the good guys kind of look, And so, I very much like that about Cassian's character too. He fully gets that. He's just like, you are a tool for me to get to my objective, and you may be expendable. So, okay. I think that does it for anything else. Anybody? Bueller? No? Nobody?
No,
Nobody?
we pretty much covered it.
All right.
Today I feel like playing computer games. Today I feel like playing computer games.
All right. I don't believe we had any questions from the Discord community, so it means the future is dead. Well done, everybody.
The future is in the future.
The future is in the future. I like it.
Yeah.
All right. Mr. Matthew, again, sir, sorry, sir, Colonel, sorry. We'll do games played, then we'll get into the quiz. How's that? Does that sound like a plan?
Sounds good to me.
All right.
Sounds good to me.
So, with that said, who here has played Claire Obscure Expedition 33?
I played this for a little bit.
Okay.
No.
Did either of you play this for a little bit?
I have played this for a little
No.
bit. I had some immediate thoughts. I'm going to throw it up on screen for us. All right. We'll start with you, Mr. Matthew. What do you think? What was your thoughts on this?
So one of my favorite gaming experiences of all time is Final Fantasy VII on the PlayStation 1.
Okay.
I just found that the storytelling and that turn-based combat was very accessible, and how the world is kind of opening up. And so the combat of this really reminds me of that Final Fantasy 7, 8, 9 kind of fighting style. So I'm drawn into that. The opening, my, what a gut punch. I don't know if we want to. I don't know if we want to spoil the prologue for everybody, but it was not
okay.
happy.
So we won't spoil the prologue, but it's an important thing I'm pointing out in this episode, because you're seeing there's this rose, which I believe he's going to pick up in a moment, and then I'll let it go, and then we'll stop showing because I don't want to spoil anything. There's definitely some. There's an event that takes place. It's part of kind of the overall narrative of this game. I get what you're saying about it having a Final Fantasy vibe to it, because I think this is made by a French developer, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, a pretty small crew too.
Yeah.
I think there's less than 50 of them. So it's a pretty amazing feat for that small of a studio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does feel very Japanese RPG like in terms of how the dialogue plays out at times.
Yes, it is. Yeah, that is the style for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not the biggest fan. We'll just say that right now.
All right.
So, and just for sake of keeping people spoiler free, I will stop showing. So I played this pretty late at night. One, I used the cloud gaming to stream this because I wasn't sure I wanted to download the game. It worked flawlessly. I actually love that ability to just be like, hey, I want to test a game, see if I like it. I probably will download the game and play it, but it wasn't. Let me take a step back. I like the dialogue. I'm not sure about the delivery at times because it does have kind of that Japanese RPG kind of delivery in moments. What really, really bothered me were two things. And they're the funniest things. One is a funny thing and one is it's a dumb choice by the developer. I will just say that. One, this rose. Your character picks up this rose and it's this big, just red, luscious rose, and it's fairly substantial. And he's carrying it around. He's going to give it to somebody, and he goes to give it to this person, and they kind of show a behind-the-shoulder scene of him putting it onto a necklace that has it's a flower necklace that she has. And so he takes this massive rose, and he's fiddling with it, and then they pan the camera around, and you see her with her flower necklace on. And the rose has shrunk down to like the proper size that would be on this necklace. I'm like, where did the big rose go? Where's the big giant rose? So that was, I mean, it reminded me of The Last of Us and the knife blocks. That's where I'm going with this. But the thing that bugged me the most, and it could potentially really put me off this game, is throughout the opening sequence before you get into an expedition that hopefully gives you some context, Mr. Matthew. You are constantly in dialogue with different characters as you're walking along. There's cutscenes. And so everything is fully voice acted, which is amazing. I love that. I applaud that because I hate reading text. I do not like RPGs that make me just read walls of text. It's one of my knocks on I think Baldur's Gate's all voice acted if I'm not mistaken, but like Pillars of Eternity, I remember there was moments where you're just having to read like a giant paragraph on your screen. So while you do have subtitles, it's all voice acted, done fairly well. But weirdly, in the cutscenes, it all plays fine. And when you're walking with your character and they're having dialogue, it just seamlessly is back and forth. You know, you're having a conversation. When you stop and engage a character, and it could be somebody on your team or potential team, it could be a vendor, it could just be Joe Schmo on the sidewalk. I don't know. They do this thing where they prompt you to move the conversation forward after every sentence.
Yes.
And it's all voice acted, so there's no need for this prompting. It's just like this artificial gameplay mechanic that got put into it that drives me freaking nuts. Because the sentence could be as small as, I like dinner. I have to prompt to move past that. To then the other person being like, I like dinner too. Prompt to get the next conversation. I hate hamburgers. You know, it's just, it drives me crazy. And it honestly made me bored in that opening segment when I was having to go through very long dialogue, pressing A. And so I was just like, why would you make that choice? So go ahead.
I agree. I agree with you I did notice the rose that you're talking about. I was like, that's weird. It doesn't bother me too much. It's a game.
I know. It made me laugh. More than anything, It didn't really bother me. I know Lewis is giving me shit in the chat right now. I have the weirdest hangups. I know.
But that piece where, and I think what they're doing is it's an accessibility feature where they're leaving it up there to be read if for whatever reason you aren't able to listen to it. Maybe maybe the subtitles are in a different language or whatever. And So yeah, that's a weird choice. Maybe it should be able to be turned off.
I'm wondering, can
Maybe
you
it
turn
should be
off
able to turn
subtitles? I wonder if that works. Maybe that would do it.
I don't know if I want to turn off subtitles. My hearing's not what it used to be. But I'll have to check that out. But overall I'm enjoying the game. The turn-based combat with the addition of if you time it right, you can do more damage
Right.
during your attacks, and if you time it right, you can avoid damage during the enemy's attack. Is an interesting take on that.
Yeah, it's like
I'm hoping there's
turn-based with an active combat element to it.
Yeah. I'm hoping there's some happiness around the corner, because so far it's just been sadness. It's just been sadness. I'm waiting for a Robert Pattinson versus Pierce Brosnan finale. So I don't know if you noticed this or not, but Gustav, the main protagonist, although is voiced by Charlie Cox, looks like Robert Pattinson. It looks like they just did a LiDAR scan of Robert Pattinson's face, and there you go. And not long after you depart on the expedition, you meet a character that is the spitting image of Pierce Brosnan, maybe with a little bit of digital aging on him a little bit. So I'm waiting for that Batman versus James Bond showdown to come up at some point. We'll see it. We'll see if we get it. We'll see if we get it. I also wonder if either of those two famous actors know that they're in this game.
So completely sidetracking this conversation, within my work, we had a very interesting conversation about how voice actors right now are extremely concerned about AI and AI voiceover and AI likeness. Yeah, it's interesting times happening right now for voice actors. But so I'm going to stick it out for a bit longer. Like I said, I got so bored. I was sadly just like I was falling asleep once the expedition kicks off, which shocked me at just how it goes very quickly from like 0 to 60.
Yeah.
And I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, what's going on? I'm like, okay.
It's like, oh, now I'm going to get to select my party. Oh no. Yeah. So I don't want to spoil it for anybody who might be thinking about it. But it's on Game Pass. Check it out.
Yeah, it's on Game Pass. It's doing exceptionally well. Highly, I can say right now, I recommend checking it out. I don't know if I fully recommend it yet, but it's been getting massive Metacritic scores from reviewers. It seemingly has caught the eye of the media as well as gamers. So it's in a good spot, I think. Okay, so we covered Claire Obscure Expedition 33, which also a weird name for the record. I guess it has meaning though. It does have meaning. I get that.
I mean, I know they talk about the other expeditions, so I'm hoping, it's going to unfold as we play through it a little bit here. Yeah.
I think there will be discovery.
Yes.
I'll leave it at that. Kim, what's been going on with you?
Oh, well, here I am with my weekly Baldur's Gate review thing, I guess. What I've been doing in Baldur's Gate, I guess I'll put it that way. Well, I almost got Lizelle lobotomized. We found her crashed. They put her in the fancy little machine, and because I had shitty dice rolls. I kid you not. I bet I saved Scum 4 times before I finally got a good dice roll so her ass didn't get melted in that machine. And I felt bad because, the first time I played through it, I played it with mods. So, of course, there's a mod. You get good dice rolls, right? Well, this time I'm not. So, it's all about what the dice are going to do. And I kid you not, every time I turned around, because one dice roll, you had to get 30. Well, there was no... I didn't get 30, obviously. I got close once at, 24, but I couldn't get 30. And it was bad enough that our little guardian dude was even yelling at me, we have to get her out of that machine. And I'm like, I'm trying, dude. My dice suck.
So let me ask you a question.
Okay.
What happens if she got lobotomized? I mean, I know she dies, but I mean, do you not carry forward? Do you not just,
Well, I assume it's like everybody else. If they die, you have to, go to an earlier save point and go again. I assume.
No,
just-
Kim,
you just gotta-
that is not how this works. If you die, you
Sorry.
die.
No. Well, not in this game necessarily, because I've killed them all at one point, falling from the under in the well. There's a hole where you can fall down into the Underdark, and I did that one day without putting Featherfall on because I jumped and I fell through the frickin' spider web, and of course they all followed after me, and we all hit the bottom, and we all died, and it made me go back to an early save point. So
Okay, so that you killed your party with, so that I
Yes.
get. But my point,
So if you
being-
get a
and I think Chris Matthew, you're going this way.
well, so I don't know what happens.
right,
But she probably just gets some kind of debuff to her abilities, and you carry on. I think that's the thing that makes Baldur's Gate 3 so interesting. Is Kim and Mark and I have all played this, and we've all had very different experiences.
Right.
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 Also, typically, if someone dies, you just go give Withers 200 gold, and he brings them
Right.
back, or maybe it's 100. It's actually almost zero consequence. The party wipe, yeah,
Right.
you got to go back. You got to go back to a previous save, unless you're in honor mode, in which case you get to start the whole game again.
Right. Which I will
But-
probably never do because I won't last long.
Yeah, that's I
But
think
could you not play through it and just, if your companions die, they die, and you just carry forward?
So you could role play that way.
Yeah.
You can definitely.
That's where I was going
so,
with this, by the way.
Yeah. So you
I
could
just
role
never had
play
it
like that, and you can go to Withers, and he will hire. You can hire hirelings who are just
Right.
not voice acted characters. They're just there to help you in battles. So yeah.
There you go, Kim.
But this is Kim's update.
I know.
didn't mean
It
to
is
interrupt.
Kim's update. I
So,
know.
no, that's fine. But anyway, so yeah, I had some really shitty dice rolls, and it was bad enough. Asterion was like yelling at me, and behind, are we just gonna let her die? And then Gale's yelling at me the same thing, and I'm like, I'm trying, guys. The dice just don't like me today. And finally, there was another one where I guess I could straight up just lie to her, and I think it was only like a 12. And luck would have it, between all the gear I had on and everything else, I had enough bonus that I got the 12. And finally, we got her out of the machine, and that was the end of that. But the funny thing is, after we got her out of the machine, of course, then the doctor, whatever you want to call the Githyanki person that runs the little machine, she was like, how do I know her tadpole is gone? And so, of course, you've got to lie to her, because otherwise, if you don't, she's going to lock you in there. And the moment you unlock the door to try to go out, all the Githyanki are after your ass. And there's a lot of them in this thing.
I had
So,
to
of
murder
course-
all of them.
By the way,
Oh my
for those
God.
that don't know the tadpole, I believe this is
Right.
like a mind flayer seed, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
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 Mind
And,
flayers, by the
so
way, people
anyway,
are bad. In case you're wondering, it's
Yeah.
bad. Yeah.
Yes.
Most of them.
Mind
Most
flayers
of
are
them.
not good.
Most.
Well, true. Yeah. Oh, Minilome, or whatever the hell the guy's name in the Underdark, doesn't seem to be a bad guy. But anyway, so yeah, I had to do the dice roll on that to lie to her to make her think that the tadpole was gone. And wouldn't you know it, shitty fucking dice rolls. So at least twice she locked us in the office, and of course trying to get out is when we had to start the big fight. So of course I save scum that, and finally I managed to get a dice roll where I could lie to her ass, and she let us go. But holy moly, that was a real pain in the ass. It's like, why in the hell am I not playing this with mods again? Oh, that's right, I want to try to get the achievements. But, so that was fun, because like I said, I bet you it was 6 times I had to roll, restart and roll again to get Lae'zel out of that stupid machine, with everybody yelling at me that, oh, she was going to die. And it's like,
See, this is where you miss having a dungeon master like Phil, who would just
Right.
fudge things a little bit and just keep the party moving forward without having to save
Right.
scum it.
You sure you don't want to try
Right.
to roll that one again? Yeah.
right.
When I
So-
when I played through that part you were talking about the first time, Kim, I think I failed the dice roll to lie to the lady, and so
Right.
she locked us in. So we had to fight her, and then we unlocked the door, and then we were trespassing, and we ended up I ended up murder hoboing everyone in that creche. So
And there is a lot in there, so
There-
I mean,
there were a lot of 'em.
gracious. Oh yeah. So congrats to you. I didn't want to take the chance. I'm like, nope, screw this. Earlier
There's-
save point. Let's try
Yeah.
this again. You know,
They're far enough spread out that you can take them in little engagements, and there are some places you can get to where you can long rest if you need to. So it wasn't so bad. And they drop a lot of great gear. They drop a lot of great
they
gear.
do. Yeah.
I just want to throw this out there real fast. I just learned a new term. I murder
Okay.
hoboed everybody. I've
So-
not heard that
You've never
term
heard murder
before.
hobo before?
No.
So that's basically when you play games like this where you don't, a lot of missions have an option to go through dialogue and progress that way. If you just decide to kill everybody anyway, you're a murder hobo,
Okay.
right? And so yeah.
Yeah, I never heard that.
Yeah.
Okay.
welcome.
So,
all right.
yeah. So, other than that, we did the Grim Forge, which is the big forge where you can, forge some super cool weapons. I actually managed to make me a couple of matching scimitars, so those were nice. And them things actually kick some pretty good ass. But it was funny because we were talking the other day about Mark and the deal with the smoke powder barrels and whatever he was doing. I did that with the adamantium golem thing or whatever that guards that place. I actually pulled that off on it because the first time I went down there, we got wiped out. I mean, for some odd reason, we could take him down to a certain amount of life, and then once he got down to so far, we couldn't. It was like we were poking him with like sticks or something. We just couldn't do it. Well, then I got to thinking about it, and I remember what Mark said with all the smoke powder barrels and whatnot. So we went and gathered up a bunch, and thank God Carlac can carry a bunch of shit, because unfortunately she was the mule in this operation. So we went down there and we got all these barrels, exploding barrels, and piled them up right there where the guy comes out, or the golem, whatever. And we cast fly on her because she was going to be the tank, and the rest of us stood up top to where he couldn't get us. And once we set the lava off, of course, then that set the smoke powder barrels off. And, of course, that took down a big chunk of health, so that helped. Then we flew Carlac's ass out of there, so she didn't get beat up. And pretty much after that, it was pretty easy. That by the time we got him down low enough, we had Carlac go back down there. And somehow or another, he managed to end up on the forge hammer. And she took a couple of whacks at him, and that was it. He was down. So, thanks, Mark. Your strategy worked. So, I may have to pack along some smoke powder barrels to take for other fights, because that was handy. He just blew everything up.
Yeah, I just pulled up the smoke powder in Grimforge apparently. So I just threw some video on screen, and I just saw just a gazillion people dead on the ground. So I'm not sure if that's what we're talking about.
That's what it does. That's what it does.
No, that's
okay.
Yeah. So yeah, there was that, and no, last little bit, and then I'll shut up about Baldur's Gate. But I've noticed the second time around, I've managed to get high or exceptional, companion rating with all of them. It's weird. The first time I played it, I couldn't hardly get Astarion to even like me even a little bit. Though, I mean, the only one that really liked me was Gale. So, and Will, and Carlock. And the rest of them, they could give a shit less. But, I don't know, the second time around, they all seem to like me. It's just been very strange. So, I don't know what I did this time. But, I mean, right now, we're only in the, Shadow Curse lands. And at this point, they all like me. So, it's just very strange. I don't know what I did, because I didn't really do anything different than I did the first time. But
Kinder, gentler Kim.
Apparently. Well, that doesn't always work with the vampire, though, because, it seemed like every time I did the good guy thing, he would disapprove. But for some odd reason, maybe it's the nightly blood feedings. I don't know. Maybe that's why he likes me. I don't know. But I guess once those stop, maybe he'll go back to hating me again. I don't know.
Nightly blood
So
feedings.
anyway, but it's been fun.
Okay.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so no, it's been fun, and we played some COD multiplayer this week, so I did that, and yeah, that's about it. So
yeah, we also got in some Halo on Tuesday. Since everybody no-showed outside of Martin and Lewis, we just the Bunnymen were there, and we took it back to traditional Halo, and had a good time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, you're playing Halo CE?
No. Okay.
Oh, sorry.
I misspoke. I misspoke. Yeah. You were correct. Oh. That was not the correct descriptor for. We just played some Halo Infinite, but coming back to Halo as opposed to just playing COD. Mr. Matthew, I want to have a conversation with you about this game Enshroud.
Enshrouded?
Enshrouded, yes.
All right.
Talk to me.
So Mark has talked about this game quite a lot. It's not new. I just recently got into it. There's a group that I've been gaming with on Friday nights that they were like, hey, we're all going to start playing Enshrouded. So I'm like, all right, cool, let's try it out. And so we rented a server and kind of started it up. So it's an open world role playing game, multiplayer, player versus environment, where you play as I think they call you Fireborn. Anyway, and it mixes a lot of really interesting game elements together. So you can mine, it seems like almost anything. Like you need rock, just take out a pickaxe and go dig into any random mountain and you'll get rock. You need dirt, go dig a hole in the dirt. You can cut down any tree. Just get all the resources. And the reason it's called Enshrouded is so you when you run in these certain areas, there's kind of this blue haze, and you can only stay in it for so long, or the shroud will consume you, and then you have to go back to respawn. Taking a cue from a lot of modern role playing games, if you die, you drop some portions of your inventory, and then you have to go back and get them. There's a little bit of mercy in that. It's not one of those where if you die again, all that stuff disappears. It just stays there till you go and get it. We ended up in an area for which we were very under-leveled and just kept dying. And by the time we finally got it all cleared out, there were probably 10 corpses for every person on the server. And so then it was all like everybody trying to collect everybody else's loot back up. So it's pretty deep. There's a lot of different systems to manage. You got to manage your rest. You got to manage your hunger. One thing that's interesting is as you're building up, you kind of build up your home. There are lots of cosmetic items you can add to your home, but unlike say Fallout 76 or Minecraft, where how pretty your home is doesn't really matter. Like, a dirt block with a bed in it is the best home that you need in Minecraft, right? In this game, if you decorate the place nicely, you get a longer rested bonus. If your house is nicely decorated, your rested bonus lasts longer. So there's at least some benefit to spending some time making your home look nice. So yeah, I mean, it's a lot of fun.
Did you ever play, was it New World?
I did not.
From Amazon? I'm getting some kind of similar vibes, but then there was another game that came out. It feels, and I was trying to find it as we were talking. I could not discover the name of the game. It's escaping me. I'll have to look on my library. There was a game that came out that was very similar to this, where it's, you kind of could mine and search for anything, although you couldn't just do it at any spot. Like digging for dirt, was not a thing, but you built up, you built up a home, and you start off with nothing, right? And you're crafting things, so it has a little bit of that Minecraft element to it, but then there was the RPG side of it. Anyway, so it reminded me of that.
Sounds like it's very similar to Valheim. It's got a lot of similarities.
That's what I was. Yeah. Thank you, Valheim.
It's got a lot of similarities to Valheim. I have played Valheim a little bit, not that much. But yeah, so I don't know, it's a lot of fun. It's got so since we're on the topic, does everything have to have a grappling hook now? So played Expedition 33, and you have a grappling hook. Of course, Halo Infinite, you have a grappling hook. We've all played South of Midnight, where you don't have a grappling hook, but there are these certain, like a magic grappling hook. What else has a grappling hook? Star Wars Outlaws, Assassin's Creed Shadows. It just seems like that's the new thing in all the games, has to be a grappling hook. Anyway,
it makes things fun.
It does make things fun, and you can get around pretty quick. Everybody wants to be Spider-Man, I guess.
That's, I mean, let's face it, that's the ultimate original OG grappling hook with Spider-Man and
and Batman. Depends
yeah,
upon,
true, Batman.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a pretty cool game though. I
Okay.
recommend checking it out if you haven't already.
And Shrouded.
Probably be on sale soon.
All right. Speaking of games being checked out, Oblivion remaster.
Oh,
The brand new game.
The brand new one, yeah. So I'm going to actually throw up, I found somebody that was doing a comparison of character models. So you can kind of see the upgrades. So this is the original Oblivion versus the new. I mean, it is night and day.
Yeah.
Just incredible the amount of work they put into this game. I played through that kind of first tutorial section. I have not gone back to it yet. That's because another game took most of my time, so I won't get into that. But have you been playing this as well, Mr. Matthew?
I have.
And-
you know me, I'm a Bethesda fanboy. We're all screaming, where's Fallout 5? Where's Elder Scrolls 6? But I think 4 million people, I don't know, some ridiculous number of people are playing this game from 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So I guess they got our number. But I love it. I think it's great. I enjoyed Oblivion the first time. I'm trying real hard not to be a stealth archer, which seems to be the way that these games always get played. But sneak and archery are just so overpowered in most of these Elder Scrolls games. They did make my boy Uriel Septim look wizened though. Man, he looks like Billy Crystal in The Princess Bride, And of course Sir Patrick Stewart. I could sit and listen to him read the phone book.
Yeah, I think that's like one of the only original things in this is the voice, all of the voicing in this game. I don't think they've added any to it. I think so. They've stayed true to that, the story and the voice acting, everything else, including some of the game mechanics. Is, from what I understand, they brought a lot of the Skyrim kind of sensibilities into this game. So
they did, although they do still have you still pick your birth sign and you still pick your major skills,
right?
And you make your classes, so it's still a little deeper in terms of character creation than Skyrim was, but they did modernize it pretty well. Yeah,
the lighting is just amazing. The difference in this game compared to the original. Just looking at it on screen right now, it's shocking because I mean I think in my head Oblivion always looked good, and now I look at the comparison and I'm like, God, Oblivion looked like crap.
It looked good in 2005.
Yeah, it was good good at the time. Don't get me wrong.
One thing I missed though, since Oblivion was first published, one thing that Bethesda has added to their open world games is when you go through a dungeon, when you finish it, a secret exit opens up right near the end, and so you don't have to walk all the way back through it. That's not in this, so you kind of have. So I do miss that. That.
I hadn't noticed that yet. So you do have to backtrack.
Yeah,
basically.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Minor annoyance. It's
Right.
I'm going to spend a lot of hours in Oblivion because the music is so great. It's got the crafting and the making potions and spelling and all that. So if you haven't yet, especially Greg, you haven't finished the tutorial yet. When you're looking at that slick new sewer exit with the Skyrim dragon on there,
right?
Make a game save where you're staring right at that.
Okay.
And don't delete that save.
All right.
Because if you want to try a different character class, if you load up that save, as soon as you touch the gate, you can change everything about your character. Race, gender, birth sign, major skills. And so if you want to play another type of character, I always keep one game save where I'm staring right at that gate.
Huh.
So
All
I
right.
can go
Okay.
back,
Well, there you
try
go.
new
Look at that. This podcast giving more than just fun commentary. Actual knowledge. There we go.
Practical advice. There you go.
Yep. SM art. Okay. Anything else you would like to talk about, Mr. Matthew, before we move on?
I think we've covered most of what I've been doing this week.
Okay.
Of course we had the double fatal Friday. That was a good time. Except for maybe I think Jay might not have had a great time. I do kind of feel bad for Jay because you got I'm not very good at Call of Duty. I would go so far as to say I'm very bad at it. So, Kim and Sarah hold their own pretty well. Mark seems pretty frustrated, so I'm going to go on a string and say he's not doing so great. And Jay is in the corner like, oh, I'm just camping over here. I'm like 30-1 KD. And it's like, okay, man, but we got to win. So poor Jay he seems to be really good at Call of Duty, but we did not win a single game.
He does like his shooters. I know that for a fact.
Yeah.
And he's good at them. Yeah. Did we have the conversation about PUBG? Did you ever play PUBG?
I never did.
We might have to drag you
download
kicking
it.
and screaming into it.
You won't have. I won't kick and scream even. You might have dragged me away from Oblivion, but I won't kick and scream.
We tried to get Kim to play PUBG, and she was not having it. She's like, no. You might have some appreciation for it, although we're so far into the zeitgeist of that game that, we could play against bots, and I guess that's the cutting your teeth aspect to it. So,
is that it? All right. Yeah, it's probably only the real like the real good players that are left, right? Like we had this one guy Friday who was when we were playing Kill Confirmed, and this cat literally was just circling to all the spawn points, and it's like, come on, man.
Yeah,
come on, man. Like go do something else for a minute. But hey, if he's having fun, I say he might have been.
Could
Might have been a she. As long as they are having fun.
Yes.
As long as they are having fun.
Speaking of fun, I completed Sniper Elite Resistance. I think I talked about that last week. If I didn't, I've done it. Done, dusted, enjoyed it. Recommend it. It's on Game Pass if you have Game Pass. South of Midnight. So I continue to play through. I've been just kind of hammering through. I thought the game was only like 8 chapters long. Discovered last night that is not the case, just based on I actually went into the settings for once and realized there's, I think, 14 chapters to this game. So a little longer than I thought.
Which chapter are you on?
Dad. Lucian. It's not Lucian. I forgot his name. He ran the jukebox, the juke house.
Oh, Laurent.
Laurent, yes.
Yeah, not Hazel's dad.
No.
Okay. Yeah, I finished that chapter, and I believe I finished the chapter after that. So I'm not too far ahead of you. Well, before we get too far south of midnight, you have a question in the chat, Greg, from Boomer. Did you headshot the last guy in Sniper Elite? That's the inquiring minds want to know.
No, I did not headshot him. It took me a second shot. I wounded him and then I headshotted him. They do a kind of a weird end game moment where it kind of surprised me because I wasn't sure how the game was going to wrap up. I knew I was in the final moments of the game, but I kind of just assumed I was going to go into a boss battle, but really it's a boss battle shot. And so the enemy's getting away and you basically get to take the enemy out as he's trying to get away. So think of every famous movie where you see the guy taking off and the hero's standing there and he just aims down sight as the guy is farther and farther and farther away and then just boom, takes him out. Similar vibe, although in this game you can and often will wound a character as opposed to straight up kill them with a shot. And so as I recall, that's kind of what happened. Either way, enjoyed it. South of Midnight, though, back to that. Very much enjoying this game. It is tough. I mean, so kind of going back to, and again, I don't want to spoil anything because it's still fairly fresh, and I think that a lot of people can still play this game and enjoy it. So two things. One, combat, absolutely Hellblade, Senua Saga, the original Hellblade. If you know that combat, you know this game. That is how it all works out. There is a lot of platforming in this game that I actually enjoy. It's not overtly difficult, although they do get to be a bit challenging at times. But it's a nice inclusion. You didn't have that in the Hellblade games, so I like that here. The story itself, it's interesting because it's rooted in the Deep South, and there's all of these kind of folklore characters and elements to this game. But the core of this game is about you helping kind of fix things, and the things that you're fixing, you're not necessarily fixing, you're healing. Maybe that's the better way to put it.
It's a big therapy session.
And therapy is the right framing. And just some of them are not as bad, but man, and I say that, and if you heard this on a newscast, about what happened, you would be, that was horrible. So, it is not for, if you want something uplifting, right now there's not a lot of choices you have for uplifting. I think Oblivion is probably the most uplifting thing I've played.
Elder Scrolls can be uplifting if you stick with it. Yeah, I think I'm hopeful that I'm hopeful. I'm avoiding the press on this game because it seems like the creators have set aside gameplay innovation, not quality. It is quality. Mm-hmm. They've set aside gameplay innovation, and they've set aside, well, I shouldn't even say that, for visual audio storytelling.
Yeah.
I think the environment is so well crafted. As you're running through the levels, there's forest animals running around. Sometimes they lead you to something helpful. Sometimes they're just there for, window dressing. The music is just perfect. And so I because it's such a story-driven experience, I'm really trying to avoid any media on it at all because I don't want to get it spoiled. You know what I mean?
No,
I think.
Oh, I was just going to say on the audio side of it, something I just picked up on last night, and I hadn't noticed it earlier in the gameplay. So I want to say this is something that's evolving as my character's evolving, but it's as you do certain things like jumping or using your grappling hook, that kind of thing, audio cues are coming up now. Little like whispers and or song notes, and so I hadn't noticed it for most of the gameplay up until last night. I'm like, I don't recall hearing that, but now suddenly I'm hearing it far more often, and in particular this one tie-in with a baby crying, which actually led to something. So I'm intrigued if this is going to continue to evolve even more. It sounds like it might. But I agree with you. Visually, it is fantastic. The storytelling and the audio presentation of this game is also just excellent. I opted for the last couple of fights that I was in last night. I just turned the difficulty down. I wanted to get through them. So you can do that without penalty pretty much anytime you want. And so I kind of want to grind through the story now as opposed to the gameplay. The gameplay is what it is. I'm much more intrigued by the story, so I want to kind of get to the next story beats. So I'm kind of opting for that right now, but it's good. It's very good. There's an achievement if you do. I'll have to look, Boomer, by the way, just looking at the chat. Maybe I got it. I don't know. I will look. I will look for that achievement, see if I got the headshot achievement. I did get the testicle achievement. I know that. I think I also got one for shooting a guy's eye out. Anyway, South of Midnight. Kim, are you going to try this game?
Eventually.
She's gonna have to finish Baldur's Gate at least once
At
more
least
before.
once. Yeah, I gotta finish it at least once. But I'm telling
Okay.
you what, those fights in Act 3 are tough. And that's what's taken me the longest, because they are long, drawn out. Even with mods on, they are still long, drawn out fights. So,
Some of them can take a minute.
yeah.
Have you gotten to the I forgot what it's called now, but it's the basically where you go to deal with the City Watch.
Oh, you mean the Steel
the
Foundry?
Steel Watch, yeah.
Yeah. No, I got there, and because I was trying to save the Gondians, and well, that failed because they all blowed up. So I'm deciding on whether or not I want to, redo that and try to save them, or just suck it up and go, yeah, well, sorry, I tried.
By the way, whenever I'm trying to save the Gondians, all I have in my head is just a mass amount of Gondis running around, little like Gandhi-like characters.
So as you get to the last building there, or the last room in that building, take as many smoke powder barrels as you can,
Okay.
because they'll come in handy.
Gotcha. Alrighty. Yeah. So.
That was fun. That was a fun one.
All right, before we move on, real fast, Kim, let's do another shout out to the chat. Lewis is, in there talking about how he's a masochist and just putting in his hours with Monster Hunter Wild. So let's give some love to the chat.
Alrighty, as mentioned, Blaine Skills was in here and Boomer was in here. Lord was in there a few minutes ago. So yeah, thanks guys for stopping in and chatting with us. It's always fun.
All right, well, and the reward for that is.
All right, now everybody get settled. Get away from the windows. Now look, good. It's time for the quiz. Yeah, you know what? Oh, too bad. Tough.
Too bad.
I feel like this is very fitting for you, by the way, Chris.
I do like that little. I actually stole that sound and I play that whenever I'm going to give a quiz in my class, which is interesting because I don't have any windows. My classroom's in the basement. All right, so this week for you, in honor of the re-release, the re-release, whatever we're going to call it, of Elder Scrolls 4 Remastered.
Okay.
This we're going to do a little bit different for the quiz this year. Instead of 1 year, we're going to have multiple years, and the theme for this week is Bethesda through the years.
Oh.
I'm going to give you 3 games by Bethesda Softworks, or software, excuse me, and you're going to guess the score. And then I have a bonus question for you. So I'm going to flip a virtual coin, and the virtual coin says that Greg is going first.
Okay.
And so up first, the year is 2017. The release platform is the PC, and the game is Prey, P-R-E-Y, Prey.
P-R-E-Y, Prey. Prey, I'm going to say, just out of the gate, 88.
88.
Yeah.
All right. What does Kim think about Prey?
Clearly, she's going to Price is Right me one direction or the other. The question is, which direction, Kim?
Might be the way. That might be the strategy to this game. If you just want to win, that might be the strategy to this game.
Right. I'm gonna say 83.
Kim says 83. All right.
I'm going to make a quick little side note. My guess is Kim's score is going to be closer for the console versions, not the PC version. That's my guess.
All right. Waiting to see if anybody's playing along in the chat here.
Their fingers can't type that fast. They're not.
Yeah,
they're not capable.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Okay, so Kim was almost right on. The score for Prey on the PC was 82.
82. Okay, all right.
All right. We got Lewis coming in with a 78. 78. So there we go. Okay. Now the year is 2008. And the game, the release platform is the Xbox 360. And the game is one of my personal favorites, Fallout 3. And let's see, Greg went first last time. So Kim, you get the honor of going first this time.
Okay, Fallout 3. I'm gonna go 88.
Kim says 88 for Fallout 3 on the Xbox 360. What do you think, Mr. DeLacy?
Mr. Matthew, this is an excellent game. I'm gonna go 89. I'm gonna Price is Right Kim on 80. Yeah, 89. Actually,
Greg says 89.
Am I locked in, or can I change that?
Oh, I haven't given you the answer yet, so I suppose I can grant you some leeway. You haven't turned in the
I'm going to
quiz
take
yet.
a chance. 91.
Okay.
You went with 91, taking a chance. All right, and we got a 85 from the chat. The correct answer. It's a good thing you changed your answer, Greg. The correct answer, 93. So only 2 points off. So going into the last regulation round, it's close. It's close.
Kim's still in the lead.
2 points separate you. Kim's ahead by 2 points.
Okay.
And so for the final round, the year is 2014. We're going to the PlayStation 4 here because we want to respect all the consoles. And the game is The Evil Within.
PlayStation 4 Evil Within.
And I guess we're back to Greg going first.
Yeah. Evil Within. 87.
Greg says 87 for The Evil Within. All right. What do we think, Kim?
Remember this one. I didn't play it because it's creepy. So, and I'm a chicken.
I'm right there with you.
But-
I don't do creepy.
Yeah.
Got a
I'm gonna go
79.
83.
Got a 79 from the chat, and Kim says 83. Everyone was feeling generous that round. Actual score 75.
Wow.
75. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought the first one did good, and man, I guess not. Well, that's actually a decent score. It's not a bad score, right?
It's a decent score. That's middle of the road. That's
It's not
middle
like
of the road.
50 or something. So.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's see. So that
Kim
brings
took
us
that
to
for
the,
sure.
that brings us to the end of regulation. Greg is at 20, and Kim is at 14, and Lewis is at 16. And so we're gonna go into double jeopardy. So I'm gonna give you a chance to make a wager.
Okay.
So Greg, you can wager up to 20.
Okay.
If you get the answer correct, I'm gonna take it away. If you get the answer wrong, I'm gonna add it.
Okay.
Right? So I'm gonna take your wagers now before I give you the question. So Greg, what are you wagering?
I'm going to wager 14 points.
Greg's gonna wager 14 points. All right, Kim, what's your wager?
Oh. At 10.
Kim's gonna wager 10 points.
I mean, it's not like I'm losing anything in this, really. So, I mean, to be fair.
It's all bragging rights. It's all bragging rights.
Right.
I'm going to give it a quick moment to see if we get okay. Lewis is going to bet it all. Going to bet it all. I like it.
All right.
I like it. Okay.
Big ponies on that one.
And so your bonus question, and this might be a little bit of a softball, but we're going to go for it anyway. What is the highest rating of any Bethesda? Actually, that's too easy, isn't it? That's too easy. Yeah, we'll go with it. What is the highest rating of any Bethesda software game ever released? Let's see. We're back to Kim's first.
Game? Like the rating. I'm confused. Slightly.
Oh, I would the game that received the highest rating. The name of the game
Gotcha,
that
all right.
received the highest rating.
Well, all right. Well, this was my personal favorite Bethesda game, so that's where I'm going with this. I'm going to say Skyrim.
All right. Kim says Skyrim.
That's
Greg,
a
what do
really
you
good
think?
guess.
Made it 3,000 times and people are still buying it. So, I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah, I want to say Skyrim is the right answer because it was Fallout 3 and Skyrim beat it out. Because I want to say Skyrim came at like 94, depending on platform. So I'm gonna go Skyrim as well.
I'm gonna stick with Skyrim.
Yeah.
Okay. And the chat agrees with you, Skyrim. So there were actually two correct answers, two acceptable answers, with the ratings of 94 each. Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion and Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim. Both were tied for the highest rating ever. So well done in the bonus round. I should have asked you for the lowest rating ever. That would have been more challenging. So
I think
that
I actually
brings
know
us
the answer to that one too.
We'll save that for a future endeavor maybe. So Kim, by the narrow margin of 4-6, is this week's winner. Although Lewis, with his bold wager, actually comes with a total score of 0. So
well done,
Lewis.
Lewis.
So the chat wins this week. Well done.
Well done indeed.
And that's this week's Metacritic Madness.
Love it.
Here is the fucking news.
We might have to come up with a new news jingle. I don't know. Maybe we'll have to. I haven't done much looking for one, but I'll say that. Okay. A smattering of news stories. Nothing earth-shattering this week, but I thought, well, let's throw some things out there. Let's see what sticks. So, in an interview with GameFile, Nintendo was talking about the Switch 2, and then there was a conversation that happened with CD Projekt Red about Cyberpunk being released onto the Switch 2. And so the good news is that basically they're going to be able to create a more capable version of Cyberpunk 2077 on the Switch 2 than was on the PS4, the Xbox One. Now, what does that mean? That means you're not going to get a crappy version of the game. The Xbox One version and the PS4 version were plagued with bugs, low resolution issues. So they're currently targeting 1080p resolution in TV quality mode, TV performance mode, and handheld quality mode are targeting 720p, but without all the glitches. That's the realities there. That was the big issue that Cyberpunk had. It was a glitch fest on those older consoles. You're not going to get that supposedly. So if you like Cyberpunk, and by the way, have you played Cyberpunk, Christopher Matthew? Kim, did you play Cyberpunk?
not yet, no.
Neither one of you?
I've spent
Okay.
a good bit of time in Night City.
Okay.
I'll get back to it someday. I started it on the PC and I love it. I kind of got lost in it. I guess is what I would say. Like I think if I paid a little more attention, there are multiple ways to resolve the main quest.
Yeah.
I tend to go at games like this where I'm gonna try to level up my character as much as possible. So I kind of ignored the main quest for a long time and just started doing all the little side jobs.
Yep.
Right.
And so I'm kind of a little bit confused as to where the story's going. I mean, I kind of get the general beats of it, but the big broad brushstrokes of, you got Johnny Silverhand in your head and you got to figure out how to get Johnny spoilers. You got to figure out how to get Johnny Silverhand out of your head. I'm with that. But in terms of how we're going about doing that, I was like, okay, I'm in this shopping mall. Why am I in this shopping mall? I'm going to kill all these people. Okay. That's kind of how, but I love it. It's a very visually interesting game.
Yeah.
It's a compelling narrative. and Keanu Reeves, right? I mean,
Yeah, he's
can't
you
go
know
wrong.
Right.
he is not a Keanu Reeves he's an interesting actor to me because I don't consider him to be a great actor. However, there are roles he is great in. If that does that sit? Does that?
Yeah.
So I felt like his character in this was really good. I really want to. I keep looking for Phantom Liberty to be on sale, and every time it's on sale, I haven't bought it. And I'm like, oh, I'll wait for it to get cheaper. It never seems to get cheaper than I think they do like 30% off. That's it. The only time I ever see it on sale. I'm just gonna pull the trigger one of these days. Get that. I very much enjoyed the full story of Cyberpunk. It was good. So I'm itching for more. And anyway, okay. Next story. We were talking about Oblivion earlier. Mr. Matthew, you actually were hinting at this. Bethesda claimed that over 4 million people have played Elder Scrolls Oblivion Remaster since its surprise launch earlier in the week.
It's wild.
Yeah, so it was simultaneously released on PC as well as Xbox Game Pass. On Steam, the game has already achieved a peak current player number of over 170,000, according to SteamDB, making it by far the most concurrently played Elder Scrolls game ever, I believe, by the way. I think they have they've crushed it across the board. So it's kind of amazing. What it was old is new again. But again, they also really did a great job with this remaster in quotes. So I think that's another big component to this. It feels like a new game.
I think they also did a great job of very quickly building hype, right?
Yeah.
Like there was a leak, and then a few official sources started putting it up on Twitter and Instagram, and it seemed like in just a couple of days it went from, nobody was talking about Elder Scrolls anything to everybody was like, when is Elder Scrolls Remaster coming? We want it now. So yeah, well done them.
Well done them. Speaking of well done to Sandfall Interactive. They are the studio behind the RPG Claire Obscure Expedition 33. It sold over 500,000 copies in its first 24 hours. So the message came via the game's official X or Twitter account, basically messaging, 500,000 copies sold. So, in just a kind of like an additional note to this, it was released on April 24th. It has enjoyed a widespread critical acclaim with a Metacritic score currently standing at 93 on the Xbox Series X and S, 92 on the PS5, and 90 on the PC. So just file that in the back of your head for down the road when Mr. Matthew gives us a quiz on this, Kim. All right. EA Skate. The reboot will require an online connection to play. The developer confirmed this, reaffirming an early 2025 release launch window. This is a Q&A section, a Q&A section that confirmed the game will feature crossplay and any in-game currency, which can be bought with real money, of course, that players have spent during the currently running playtest will be given back to them for the early access launch. The QA also then stated the game won't feature an offline mode, with the Skate team citing the evolving city as the reason for the mandatory online connection. I think they just want it to be online all the time so they can sell you more stuff. That's the way these things work these days. Either of you ever try Skate games? No. It's not really I'm not really my bag either. So
I feel like maybe I tried one of them back in the PlayStation 1 days, but or maybe that was Tony Hawk. I don't know.
Yeah.
A long time ago.
Yeah, I'm with you. I thought about playing the new Tony Hawk when they showed the remaster release on the Game Pass, and I just couldn't do it. All right. Last story, Split Fiction, which came out, got a lot of praise. It now has been earmarked for a motion picture adaptation. So according to Variety, a live-action movie based on Hazelight Studios' co-option action adventure game is now in the works and will star Sydney Sweeney. I don't know if you are familiar with Sydney Sweeney or not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
she'll have the. I was going to make a cleavage joke. I'm not going to do it. The movie will reportedly be directed by John M. Chu, who recently directed Wicked. And the script, meanwhile, is currently being worked on by Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick, who were screenwriters on Deadpool and Wolverine. So some good cachet there.
It's a little wild to me. This game's like a month old.
I know.
And Halo getting a TV show, a few other, some of these properties that have been around a while and really built up a following, it kind of makes sense. Maybe this one's been more successful than I realized. I wish them the best. I hope it's a good movie. I hope they have success.
Yeah, I'm with you. I did not play this game. It requires co-op play, so it's not like you can just play the single player. But there's a part of me that wonders if Hollywood is just running out of ideas. And they're looking at the video game industry now and being like, there's an untapped bevy of stories. We can capitalize on this, especially if we strike while the iron's hot. I mean, look at Minecraft movie. It's doing crazy numbers. So, what's the next best thing? I mean, I wouldn't have picked Split Fiction. If you had asked me what's the next video game that's going to be made into a movie, this would not have been on my bingo card. I can safely say that. Kim, did you try Split Fiction at all?
I have not.
I thought maybe you might have with the kids.
February, so yeah, no.
Okay.
No, I haven't had the kids a whole lot lately, so.
All right.
And I'm not sure this is something Anthony would want to play, but maybe. I don't know.
Tell him there's boobs in it.
Yeah, right.
I don't know if there are or not, but just tell him. He's a teenage boy. All right. That does it for the news. Kim, we do have some new releases to talk about.
We do indeed. There's a pretty decent sized list here. Alrighty. Your new releases for April 28th through May 4th. Yeah, May is just right around the corner, people. We have Warfare Legacy Collection for the PC, April 28th. Blight Night for the PC on the 29th. Forza Horizon 5 for the PS5 on April 29th. It's coming, people.
Oh my gosh.
Morroy for the PC on April 30th. Skin Deep for the PC on April 30th. I don't know why I feel like that should be an adults only game or something, but maybe not. I don't know. I have known nothing about it. Star Vaders. Star Vaders for the PC, April 30th. Shotgun Cop Man for the PC, May 1st. I kid you not, I didn't make it up.
Shotgun Cop Man.
Yep. You find out May 1st. Void Sales for the PC, May 1st. And What the Clash for I'll spit it out. What the Clash for Apple Arcade for May 1st. That was a weird one to be on the list, but it's a game, so there you go. And those are your new releases this week. Not a whole lot there that's, strikes out at me, but somebody might like something on there.
I think the quote that I'm going to hang on to is, "It's a game, so there you go."
So there you go. I spent a lot of time with Forza Horizon 5. It is so I remember, I think it was Forza Horizon 4 maybe that a bunch of the community members were playing. And I played Forza Horizon 4. That one was really good. Forza Horizon 5 just does a really great job of bringing the setting to life. Maybe that has to do with the colors that are available to you when you're using a subtropical setting like Mexico. But it's a really good arcadey kind of racer. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
so
that was actually my
PS5
question
people.
For you. I couldn't remember, was 5 in Mexico or was 5 in England, because I think 4 was set in like the English countryside, was it not?
4 was set in Scotland, I think.
Scotland.
Yeah.
Tomato. Every person in the UK right now is just like, you can't say that. Interestingly, I have been hearing really good things about the PS5 Pro version of Forza Horizon 5, if I could only say that. And it's really showcasing the hardware for once. It is not lost on me the irony that a Microsoft-backed game is showcasing the PS5 Pro version better than probably many Sony titles right now. But yeah, we're in a new era. Console wars are slowly but surely dying off.
I think you've mentioned it before. I think Microsoft is going to be very happy to get out of the hardware business. If they can do it. I've been using the Xbox app on my PC much more than I've been using my Xbox console lately. My kids use the Xbox console. I use the PC app. So especially with Play Anywhere. So I fired up Expedition 33 on my PC, played long enough to launch the Expedition.
Yep.
Then I had to go do something else. And then I had a few minutes this morning. I fired up my Xbox and jumped into Expedition 33 on cloud gaming.
Yeah.
Right back into my same game save, and off I go. So that was that convenience is pretty awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. It is interesting. And obviously we know that there's going to be more hardware down the line, but I think the difference between Sony and Microsoft right now, and Nintendo too, Nintendo and Sony are still very much in the mindset of our hardware drives our adoption and the platform. And Microsoft, and I think this really stems from their days with Windows, right? They realized very quickly that being a closed system was not benefiting the company. And so they opened up their software, the Office 365, if you will, became, you can get it on Apple, you can get it on Google, whatever kind of machine, you can pretty much buy it and run it on that. And I think they also looked at the gaming side of things and they realized we're better off, we can make a console, but we're going to have far more success just getting people to buy into our systems and our ecosystem as opposed to our hardware. Because, again, if you can get other people to take the risk and build the hardware and then just have your software run on it, it's a much more lucrative situation for you, typically. So, anyway. All right. I'm just reading Boomer's weird seeing 1 and 2s in the game. I'm not sure what he's referring to. So,
Forza Horizon 5. Because early access is out on PlayStation. So.
Gotcha.
Oh, like their levels. Yeah, because the game's been out so long, everybody's level 1,000 something. So seeing new superstars driving around the Horizon Festival. Yeah. All right.
Yep.
Well, I think we're kind of into that closing moments of the show. We've been rambling on for just about 2 hours now. So, come hang out on Tuesday. We'll play some games. Shooty Tuesday. You can also hang out on Fatal Fridays. Double Fatal Fridays, I think that's what we're calling it now.
I think so, yes.
Yeah.
We're trying.
Mark was really bothered by the femme fatale thing, by the way. Just saying. It was good, though. It was good. But yeah, so Mr. Matthew and Kim, I believe you both are kind of handling... Sorry, Miss Woods and Mr. Matthew, or Kim and Christopher, you both are handling this. I got a kick out of that, by the way.
If it's Christopher, it's got to be Kimberly, right?
Gregory,
Kimberly, and Christopher.
Is it Kimberly? Yeah. Kim? Is it
yes,
officially?
It is Kimberly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Kimberly Ann?
No, Kimberly Sue.
Kimberly Sue. That's Missouri.
That's a very Midwest name.
Well, my dad named me because my mom wanted to name me Brandy Renee, but Dad was like, no, she sounds like an alcoholic stripper. So here we are.
Fair play. I was going to say Brandy is a stripper name, for the record. Yeah.
Right.
Sorry for those that have named their child Brandy. No offense. I'm sure she'll have a great career. All right. was going to stop while I'm ahead. Come back next week. Like, subscribe like and subscribe to the show. These are simple things we ask. We don't have tariffs. We don't have a Patreon. We just do this because we like to talk and we like the community. So hang out with us. Come back next week. We'll be here again, although it won't be me next week. So
Right.
Mr. Matthew, Mark, Kim, you will have to figure out. See how I did that? I took you right out of your first name already. I don't know why. It's just Mr. Matthew. That's just it.
I'm
It is
not
what
Mr.
it is.
Matthew. My dad's Mr. Matthew. I'm the Moose.
Yes,
Or
Colonel.
Moose or El Mooserino if you're not into the whole brevity thing.
All right, the moose is loose. No, I will be up visiting my mom, so it will be a rudderless ship unless one of you step up and man the helm.
Mark's going to take charge. I feel it.
Yeah,
I
Mark
feel
will be
it.
fine.
Yeah, or maybe
Yep.
I don't know. Robin might mysteriously appear.
Maybe.
Stranger things have happened. You find
Indeed.
you every now and again you find the leprechaun at the end of the rainbow. So maybe you'll find Robin. Just calling out to Robin. Maybe. Greg, don't ignore Boomer. I have to ignore Boomer. Okay. All right, Boomer. You'll let us know your theme. Let Kim know the theme. I'm sure it will go over well. On that note, let's do some shout outs. Kim, start us off, please.
All right, I'm going to shout out our chat one more time. Boomer, Luis, Lord, thanks for being in the chat. Appreciate it. Hopefully you come back next weekend. A shout out to YouTube because I went back and got the Steam charger for my Steam Deck and plugged it in. And the other night I played Baldur's Gate for an insane amount of hours and the battery never moved. So thanks for that. I appreciate it. Other than that, hope everybody has a good week this week. And I will pass you over to Moose. Take it away, Moose.
Thank you, Kim.
See how I did that?
I did. I was very impressive. It was very impressive. I'm going to shout out Emperor Uriel Septim for springing me from the clink one more time. It's been 20 years, man. 20 years I've been waiting. But thanks. I'm going to shout out the Idiot House. That's the gang that I've been playing Enshrouded with. They're a lot of fun. I'm going to shout out the Double Fatal Friday crew. Kim, Sarah, Mark, and Jay for suffering through Call of Duty with low skill me. But we had fun anyway.
Gotta start somewhere.
It's got to start somewhere. And finally, I'm gonna shout out Parsnip Nose 3000 for the motivation to get some free Game Pass Ultimate. I got my first 3 free months of Game Pass Ultimate. So there we go. And I was going to shout out you three, ? But there's only two of you. So I'm going to shout out the two of you and shout into the void for Greg and Robin in hopes that they hear us. Excuse me, Mark and Robin. I see Greg's face. Greg, you have a very loud face.
I have a loud face.
And so on that note, Loudface Tank Top himself is going to bring us home.
Well, I very much would like to thank the two Utes for you joining me on today's show. Shout out to the chat and the community. We love our peeps, so it's been fun, even if some of the back and forth has been at my expense, which it usually is. That's okay. I am on a high horse as well as my throne, so just remember that, people. Good luck next week. I will say that right now. And I eagerly await the next episode. I will listen if I can live. I will. Yeah, get back to gaming, people. The weekend's almost done, and you've been slacking for 2 hours listening to us talk nonsense. So go play some games.
Yeah, what the hell?
Exactly. All right.
Play some games.
Thank you for listening to the Overseas Connection podcast.